Hi dear students, welcome back to the second part of the periodic table. Today we are going to start with the second part, which was the columns. The columns are actually also called the groups and families. They are arranged according to the similarities of properties. What does it mean? In the same group, all the elements have the same properties. For example, the first group is, for example, they are alkalis or metals. Their properties are the same that we will study later. We have about 18 columns from up to down. There are 18 columns. They are divided into two parts: the main groups and the subgroups. The main groups, actually, they are 8 groups and they are 8 columns. So each column is one group from 1 till 8. And we show that groups with A, with letter A. But in subgroups, we show them with letter B. Actually, they are 10 columns, but we have about 8 groups. So why 10 columns and 8 groups? Because the 8th one, there are 3 columns, and all these 3 columns are only 8B. So one group has 3 columns. Now, let's go to the next part. For main groups, number of the group is equal to the number of electrons in their last shell. For example, those elements which are located in the first group, their number, because they are the first group, so all the elements in their last shells, they only have 1 electrons. In the second group, all the elements have 2 electrons. And for the 8th group, which are noble gases, all the elements, they have about 8 electrons, except the first one, which is called helium, which has only 2 electrons. So then we can predict the reactions. For example, from the first group, sodium reacts with chlorine. So the same reaction can sodium have with the fullerene. Chlorine is in 7th group, fullerene is also in 7th group. So we can predict reaction. I will describe it better with the table. We have about 8 main groups, and in 8 main groups, each of them have a specific name. The first one is called alkaline metals because they are mostly metals. The second one is called alkaline earth metals. The third one is called earth metals. The fourth one called amphiters, or the family of carbon. Why amphiters? Because they have both properties. Most of them have both properties. Sometimes they react like metals and sometimes like non-metals. Not metalloids, but they are also called amphiters. The fifth one is called the family of nitrogen, because the first element is nitrogen, family of oxygen. The 7th one is called halogens, and the 8th one is called noble gases, or the 0 group, because mostly their charge is 0. So let's go to the periodic table now. So here with the table, as we talked about the groups, we have 2 types of groups. The A groups, which are the main groups, and the B groups, which are the subgroups. So we have 18 columns. 1, 2, 10 of them are here, and the 6 others are here. We have 18 groups. 1A, 2A, the first main group, the second main group, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth, sixth, 7th, and 8th one. So the first one, as we talked, that they are actually called alkaline metals. Alkaline metals, except the hydrogen, all of them have the same properties, and they are alkaline metals. And not forget, these 2, cesium and francium, they're actually the most active metals in the periodic table, located to the left and the down part of the table. The second group, A2, which we say that they're alkaline earth metals, with the same color, they are here. And the famous, for the first one, most of them are the famous elements. The second one also, magnesium, calcium, they are the famous elements. Then with the third group, boron is the most famous element here, which we also call the family or the earth metal. The fourth group is also called the family of carbon, and because it starts with carbon actually. The fifth one is the family of nitrogen because it starts with nitrogen. The famous elements are nitrogen and phosphorus. The sixth one is the family of oxygen, and the most important elements are oxygen and sulfur. The seventh group is called halogens. Halogens because there are four famous halogens: fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. And the last group is the last main group is called the noble gases. Here they are: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. They are also called the zero group because their charge is mostly zero. So they are the main groups. And here we talked about that we have about 8 groups, 8 subgroups, but they are 10 columns. They start with 3b, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 8b actually have 3 columns, 1, 2, 3. So that's why there are 10 columns and 8 groups. At the end, 1b and 2b. They are the subgroups. So as we talked, we can predict the reactions. Here we had an example. Sodium, when it reacts with chlorine, it will make sodium chloride. So we can also predict that sodium, if it reacts with fluorine, it will make sodium fluoride. The same for other elements, sodium, bromide, and other elements. So from the groups, because they have the same properties, we can predict their reactions, how they have reaction. If we know the one of the elements, one reaction for the one element, we will predict the other as well. So that's all for the groups. And for more videos, share, like, and subscribe our videos and channel. Thank you very much. Do not forget, stay home, stay safe, and save lives. Bye bye.